What's up, guys? It's Archer here. Welcome back to our Ootp 19 franchise with the Kansas City Royals. It is June 4th, which means it's draft day, and we are a lot worse than I thought we were going to be. We're 16-43, 18 games back in the division. Things are pretty bad for us right now, as you are going to see very shortly. So, our offense is bad. It's, I believe, last in runs scored. And in runs against, we're 14th, so that's not too much better. Scott Blewett has been a bit of a bright spot in the rotation, which has been nice. Everyone else has been pretty much garbage. Ramon Torres at one point was hitting over 400 for like a month and a bit, but he's now down to 337, and it was all batting average on balls in play, so he was just getting lucky. Other than that, Nicky Lopez came up. He's been pretty solid. Khalil Lee came up. He's been actually pretty good. So hopefully those can be kind of nice pieces. But Tellez is hitting below 200, which is just real bad. Samir Dunez is also hitting bad. Chelsea Cuthbert, Thomas Nitto's just cannot take a walk to save his life, and he doesn't hit for power either. So yeah, it's just all in all pretty bad across the board. Even Liam Hendricks is having an awful season, so it's going to be difficult to trade him. Granted, our prospects are doing all right. So Jerry and Ely is having a pretty nice season down in single A. I'm going to move him kind of slowly, I think, maybe up to high A and then maybe double A by the end of the season, then maybe start him in double A, move to triple A next season, but we'll see about that. Noah Cardenas is not having the greatest of seasons in A-ball. I think I'm going to move him down to low A at mid-season when that starts up. But yeah, we're gonna try and add some more talent to our organization, and it looks like we're gonna have a very high draft pick next year because we're just really bad. Oh wait, hold on. One thing I forgot. Zhang Yizhao has been out for a while with shoulder tendonitis, but he was actually pretty decent when he did play. He was putting up a kind of below average OPS, but playing decent defense and hitting for a little bit of power. So I think when he comes back up, he'll be, adjusting a little bit the whole time and get better and better. So hopefully we'll be able to see that. We do have the 5th pick in this year's draft. The Diamond Cats didn't sign somebody in last year's draft, so they have an extra pick at the top of the order. Let's just do a quick look through of the batters. Trejan Fletcher looks kind of nice. Drew Bowser looks good. Jack Bolger actually looks real nice. He's already an impossible sign, though, so that's not a great look. Mike Gilbert looks good. Josh Lockhart, okay. Let's go to the pitching side of things. Okay, so it looks like Murdoch Blagden and Rodolfo Flores and Mike Klein. So 3 decent pitchers at the top, which is pretty rare. So that's nice. And they all look to be kind of college-aged, so they should develop fairly quickly. And then you have Greg Barlow on the lower tier along with maybe Mike Hammond. Okay. That all looks good. I'm just going to auto-draft until our pick. Interesting. Okay, so Murdoch Blagden is still up. That scares me a bit. What does OSA think of that 3rd pitch? Interesting. Okay, so he's a cutter-slider guy. He throws hard. Front of the rotation potential. Okay, that's good. And he is 22, so he will be developing a little bit quicker than, say, a Rodolfo Flores, who my scouting director believes front of the rotation starter with his health stuff and effectiveness, because he is durable. Okay, that is kind of big, actually, especially with younger starters. I do like the stamina, though, on Blagden. Okay, so I think if it's a pitcher, it's Blagden. Let's look at the batters. Okay, so Mike Gilbert is still here. Okay. That arm says left field to me because he doesn't have the range really to play center. That would be a good left fielder. I think the pitcher holds more value at this point, though. The only other thing I'm considering is catcher, but you are already impossible at the 1st pick of the draft, so I think there's just nobody going to be able to sign you. Josh Rowe, nah, that's just I just need more contact than that, to be honest with you, unless we're in the lower rounds. Luis Castellanos can kind of catch, but not really. We already have our catcher. What are we talking about? Faith in Cardenas. Let's see. Is there anybody else? Maybe a Victor Medeiros? Okay, so you're actually quite nice, and you have crazy stamina. Injury proneness is normal. Again, front of the rotation potential. We like you a little bit less than we did, but your velocity has improved over the past couple of months. Huh. I think it is Blagden. I think that's the pick, and he does have an overslot bonus demand, but that's not a big deal, and he's Canadian, so you know. It's weird. I like weird. Let's go to the next pick. Okay, Medeiros isn't there anymore, and the only body there that we already looked at is Blagden. Tristan Wood. Oh, wow. Does not have an arm. Okay. Aaron Nixon. Okay. Plus contact, plus I, plus avoid K. Pretty good on defense. Probably a decent shortstop. An impossible sign, so that's not the greatest, but it's something. Brendan Easley. Okay. Plus power, not great defense. Okay. I'm not super plussed with any of these. Let me take a look at Josh McLeod. Nope. No third pitch, so that's nothing. Jim Salzberg. No third pitch. He has a hell of a knuckle curve, though. Wow. Who else? Who else looks okay? Casey Dukes. I mean, he's got KC in the name, so I feel almost obligated. If the fastball ticks up a bit, the control and the movement. Mid-rotation starter with advanced feel for pitching. Okay, well, maybe. I do tend to like control over anything else. Lucas Gordon almost looks better, though. Oh, yeah, you do look better, for sure. Yeah, because if your stuff ticks up, then all of a sudden you've got a plus arsenal. Projected to fit comfortably in the middle of a big league rotation. Pounds the zone with good movement. Money pitch a changeup that will make all but the best hitters miss. Yeah, okay. I've convinced myself. I'm going for Lucas Gordon and then maybe hoping that Casey turns up in a later round. That is 2 pitchers I've drafted now, so I do have to be aware of that. Okay, so Casey is gone. I'm not going to check where he went. I'll do that maybe sometime down the road if he's actually good and he shows up. Maybe a batter would be good at this stage. Aaron Nixon at this point is showing up. Greg Riggleman looks pretty nice. That's a left field prospect if I've ever seen one. More seasoning against quality pitchers. Well, yeah, I'd imagine. He's 18. Potential for average eye. Quiet and focused. Repeatable swing. Alright, I dig it. What about somebody with really good power potential? Tim Watts? I mean, he is a first baseman, so that's not too appealing because we do have Prado and Tellez and Dune. Yeah, it's kind of a lot that we already have in our organization. Same thing goes for Joe Hollins. He can't even play first base. There's a catcher here. Can't really play catcher though, which is often the case. Maybe somebody that'll draw a ton of walks while hitting decently. You're a first baseman. Alright, so I'm basically seeing Aaron Nixon is kind of the only guy that we want. So I'm just going to go for it. I think we can probably sign him. I'm not too worried at this stage. And at this point, it's the 4th round. I think the 5th round we're going to draft Jack Bulger if he's still there, because at that point I just don't want somebody else to get him and luck into finding somebody good. Andy Lyles. Okay, a deep arsenal, if not a particularly good one. Yeah, I don't know. Let's look for somebody with plus control who needs the velocity to pick up. No. Kirkendall. I mean, Ron Roy seems like a pretty good one. Oh, Ron. Why don't you have a changeup? Damn you, Ron. Okay. Man, this draft class is not very good. I gotta be honest with you. I guess we take Andy Lyles, because I don't see anybody else. He is an impossible sign, though. Should I try and find somebody a little better? Maybe in Alpha Lucky. Oh, his bonus demand is 4 mil, though. That is a lot of money. I'm going to bet that the impossible sign is actually going to be less than 4 million. That's what I'm betting. Alright, now let's check and see. Jack is still there. He's going to want like $20 million, but you know what? Now nobody else can draft him. Scout, what do you think? Jake Vask? Again, doesn't really have a changeup, so kind of scares me. Man, there is like no good players left in this draft. Or I guess I should say impact players. Like, there are good ones, but there's nobody I look at and I'm like, yeah, in 2 years you're going to be starting for me and we're going to be great. It's really early to do this, but I'm kind of considering letting my scout take over. Maybe I'll draft Greg first. Are you also impossible? You're just extremely hard, so I figure we can get you. Okay. Man, this is not my favorite draft I've ever seen. Do we want to draft that guy that looked good but didn't have a changeup and just see? Just because why not? Like, if there's going to be nobody good, you might as well take a shot in the dark on a guy that maybe develops a changeup out of a miracle. Ron Roy. He's only a hard sign. Yeah, let's do it. Now I feel confident enough to have my scout do the rest of it. Yeah. I don't feel good about that. I feel good about our first pick. I feel kind of good about our second pick. Past that, I'm pretty not sure. Okay, what does Jack Bulger want? Just out of curiosity. Significantly above 6 million. Okay, well, I have 40 million in the bank. So, actually, as crazy as that sounds, I may be able to do it. Alright, so we've got Murdoch. We're going to get Lucas. We are going to get Aaron, it looks like. Oh, no, we're not. Wow, Aaron, you have a huge bonus demand. Okay, never mind, we're not getting Aaron Nixon. Yeah, so Andy Lyles, I believe, was the guy I said his impossible is going to be less than 4 million. So there it is. He wants significantly above 2.2, so I would imagine that like 3.5 would be enough to get it done. And then Jack Bulger, let's just see. Let's go like 7.5. 7.5. Yeah. 7.5 million. That's a ton, but I don't know. I'm just interested to see if I can sign him. And then you're the guy with no changeup, but the knuckle curve, and okay, yeah. 2.8, that's a bit rich for my blood. Who's Vince Todd? This is somebody my scout drafted. You don't have any movement or the potential to have any, so no. Alright, yeah, I think I'm going to leave the rest of you as you are. What was the name of that other guy that we drafted who didn't have a changeup? I just want to see. Usually they auto-accept. Players, minor leagues. He had, I think, plus everything, so we should be able to find him pretty easily. It was Ron Roy, wasn't it? Oh, wow. Yeah, they made him into a closer. I mean, admittedly, for a 7th round pick, that's an amazing closer. But I'm going to put him on my short list just in case he does develop a third pitch. Because sometimes, you know, it's just a random event and they will spontaneously just, like, add a splitter or, you know, something like that. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'm going to go till international free agent signings. We're going to do that real quick, and then we'll wrap up this episode. I don't think I'm going to play a game. It's just, who cares this year? Like, there's nobody that I really think that I want to see. Like, it's not like I'm going to call up a pitcher and be like, hey, here's his debut. I want you to see his debut and see how it goes. Like, it's just going to be watching Scott Blewett get 5 runs scored on him in 6 innings. So I don't think I'm going to do that, but we will do international free agent signings, and then we'll wrap up this episode. Next episode, we'll do the trade deadline and then maybe September call-ups, and we'll see how that goes. And there we have it. Zhang Yishao is able to come back on the roster. I will demote Corey Toops and put Zhao on the roster, and we'll be good to go. I'll see you when international free agent signing gets here. So real quick, I'm going to show you the All-Star Game rosters. The only player from us to have made it is Ramon Torres, who is still hitting 325, but if you look at like his last month, he's hitting like 198. So, you know, he hit 400 one month, and now he's hitting under 200 the next, so it's all evening out. But that is the only guy that we got on there, and it's not really a surprise because we are bad. So negotiating with draftees has gone pretty well. The only person, yeah, we actually have signed everyone that we wanted to sign, including Jake Bolger, I believe. Is that his name? Jake, yeah, Jake Bolger, Jack Bolger, close enough. So yeah, he signed with us. He doesn't look as good as he did during the draft. Oh no, he does. That was OSA ratings. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, he looks kind of pretty good, so we'll see what comes of him. That's the All-Star Game rosters, though. Let's go to international free agent signings. Right then, so it is July 2nd, and here we are, 21-61, and still way back in the division, 30 games back. I'll take you through the monthly awards real quick. Bryce Harper won NL Best Bat. Trevor Bauer won Pitcher of the Month. Also Luis Perdomo did, and then got sent down, so that's interesting. You won Batter of the Month and Rookie of the Month, so that's cool. And Andy Ibanez won Rookie of the Month and then got sent down immediately, so that's cool. That seems to be a common occurrence. Right, we're going to go to International Amateurs, and here we are. Oh dear, they don't look very good. Okay, well I see a pitcher, which is always, you know, a risk, but, you know, maybe one worth taking. He is 16, so that's miles away from the big leagues. OSA seems to really like him. Then we have Juan Moreno, who is probably a right fielder, and OSA doesn't like him quite as much. I doubt we can get both of these players, so I wonder which one we want. I mean, my general rule of thumb is just whenever you're offered 2 players that you think are roughly similar, take the pitcher. And I think I'm going to hold to that. So let's go to your offer contract screen. I'm actually going to jack his price up instead of down because we are only going to sign 1 player. And we'll see how we get on with that. Sometimes that's enough to just sign him outright. We'll see. I will be back at the next negotiation we have with him. Right, so that was clearly not enough, and our offer has been topped. At this point, we're just going to go to 5, and as the first team to offer him 5, I believe he will just sign with us after a certain period of time. Like, he'll come back to us and say, hey, I've got a better offer, but he really just, we resubmit ours and we get him. Believe that's how this works. So I will await that. So we got a compensation pick for Aaron Nixon, and then unfortunately nobody else. But that does mean that we have a little ammunition extra in next year's draft. And not that we'll need it if we stay on a 259 winning percentage, which I am... I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not happy about it. I really did think that we were going to improve this year. I really did. Okay, yeah, so he says, sorry, but I prefer the offer from the Mariners, and then I say, ask for a response, and he says, yeah, that's fine, and I submit. It's kind of a silly system. I think that the first team to submit their $5 million should probably just get them, because that just makes sense if that's what's going to happen anyway. You know what I mean? Either that or you have to bring, like, other team factors into it, you know, like... hey, does he want to live in your area? And then you have to have a whole personality matrix. I think it's just too complicated. Yeah, so he prefers the offer from the Braves, ask for a response, submit offer. Can everybody just please back off so I can get this guy? Please. I'm begging you. Alright, so there we have it. Like I said, Juan Amezquita, hopefully that's how you say that, has signed with us. And hopefully will be a part of the future. I'm going to shortlist him, and to be honest, he looks good enough at 16 to go into the DSL. And I don't really see much point of keeping people in the international free agent complex anyway. I don't think it really helps their development. If anything, I think it hurts it. So we are going to end the episode off here then after a quick update on our team. We're 26-70, which remarkably is actually an improvement, if you will believe that. A couple of key players, Thomas Nitto still just not hitting, and it's unfortunately become a bit of a trend, which, you know, I mean, eventually Cardenas or Bolger 1 is going to come up and replace him, so I'm not too sad, but I was hoping for a bit more from him this season. Whit Merrifield also not having a good season, in fact having a worse season than he did last year, so lowering his trade value, and that's really unfortunate. Zhang Yizhao for a rookie season at 20, having never played in the minor leagues, which is maybe where I should have started him. I'd say not too bad, a 700 OPS, on pace for 12 homers, over 100 games, 19 doubles, you know, kind of so-so, but decent enough. You know, walking at around 5% clip. I could have seen that going worse. I probably should have just made sure it went better by playing things a bit smarter. Rowdy Tellez has finally climbed above the Mendoza line, which means he's hitting above 200, which is still not good, mind you, but it's a little bit better. Eric Skoglund keeps finding his way onto my roster with pitching injuries, so he's going to pitch for us a little bit this year. I guess. Justin Dunn's having a bad season, which kind of sucks, because, you know, he's another guy that I traded for and was hoping for at least decent things from, and even, you know, last year did pretty well in AAA, so I thought maybe it'd carry over, but it hasn't so far. Trevor Oak's not a good season. Richard Lovelady is kind of our lone bright spot out of the bullpen, other than Brad Keller, who's been surprisingly decent. So that's been nice. Liam Hendricks is awful, though. I don't think we can possibly expect to get anything back from him. And Justin Lawrence has actually been pretty decent after being called up from, I believe, high A? Yeah, basically. I mean, he had a third of an inning at Double A, but I wouldn't put anything into that. So he's been decent, all things considered. But, man, 16 in runs scored, 14th in runs against. That is not a recipe for success. Jerry Neely, though, has been really good. Actually, he won the all-star MVP for the league that he was in A-ball. I've since moved him up to high A in hopes to kind of continue his development, and actually tearing it up. So I'm really excited about him. It looks like we have a superstar, and quite frankly, at this point, it's only going to take like, maybe 100 at bats at Wilmington, where he is right now, to convince me to move him up to Double A, and not too many at bats at Double A to convince me to move him up to Triple A. So, I mean, I'm not saying he will be a September call-up, but I'm saying I could see it happening. So that's pretty awesome for a 19-year-old. Cardenas has recovered slightly if we look at his batting splits. In April, he was fine-ish, and then he was not great in June, not great in July. But he is hitting for a higher average in July, and his on-base percentage has gone up, so that's always a positive sign. He's just hitting for no power, which is why he doesn't look too good, but he is. He is going to be okay. Anybody else on the screen that I care about? Yeah, kind of Robinson Ortiz, the guy we traded the Dodgers for. In his first taste of A-ball, pretty good. Pretty dang good. So I think we're going to continue moving him up the ladder. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be any better than, say, like a Justin Dunn. But even then, I'm pretty happy with it. So that's going to do it, you guys. Man, it's going to be a long road back to success, but there are bright spots. I can see them. There are bright spots. My name has been Archer. This has been our OOTP franchise with the Kansas City Royals. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have liked it, consider actually clicking the like button. It does help for visibility with the channel, so when people search OOTP, I get to share this with them too. And also consider, subscribing so that you can see my videos as they pop up, and you'll get notified if you click the little bell or whatever. I don't know how YouTube works. But that has been the end of this episode. I'll see you guys next time.